Welcome to the Dan Stevens Show, or for anyone who's been here before, welcome back. For the new people, you're probably looking at me thinking, my God, he better be good if he's looking that well. Or if you're just listening, I'm wearing a suit. So, on today's show, we have the news. Again, I've taken it from the main Irish news source, RTE. Online news. Undercover renter. Cash or some other way is what he's looking for. Agony Uncle section, the all new, much anticipated Agony Uncle section, where someone messaged in, who am I for? Is it too late to be a successful stand-up comedian at 37? I started at 33. Who am I for? Where's it all gonna go? That one was sent in from Anonymous. Next section is just a topic from the recent music festival I was at, Electric Picnic. 3 men in a cubicle. Door nearly coming off the hinges. What were they doing? Then we have the mullet over section, where I sent a topless pic to Grok, the AI bot. And I said, how would you describe that body? Finally then, some good news about Lad Bible. Possible good news. So, let's start at the beginning. The news. RTE investigates. So a woman went on a mission undercover, and as an undercover renter, and the title of the article is Cash or Some Other Way. So using a series of aliases, Barbara Suarez, is that her real name? I don't know, spent months investigating the reality of what happens when some women inquire about renting from Irish landlords who are willing to take advantage of the housing crisis. She was researching the issue as part of a wider team, including producer Lydia Murphy and reporter Aoife Hegarty, for a special report on the broadcast on prime time on RTE1. Here's some of what she found. Okay, so I'm going to try and just get through this as quick as I can. So it's a sunny afternoon in a fast food restaurant. Children and their parents are checking menus and enjoying their meals. Little do these kids and their families know about the adult nature of the exchange unfolding at the table next to them. I find myself face to face with a man who is offering my alias a sex for rent arrangement. I'm secretly recording the encounter. One of several that has occurred in the past few months. It was a nerve-wracking prospect, but I felt it was an important subject for us to highlight. Often the process began with a text exchange, and normally the landlords, typically men, wanted a photo first. Landlord. Here's an exchange that happened. Landlord, how do you look? Can you send and call me? Undercover research. Okay, I can send a photo, but we can speak first? Sounds... Okay, I can send photo, but we can speak first? So this undercover researcher has gone in with some bad English here to make it more believable. Landlord, I'd sooner see you first, to be honest. Now, this is not a screenshot, or I'm presuming this is exactly how it went down. So, she assumed several identities during the research, and so Anna, Maria, and Luciana were born. All these identities shared the same backstory. A young Brazilian woman who had been studying in Ireland for the last 6 or 8 months and was struggling to find a place to live. She had limited English, lacked a support network, and was experiencing financial difficulties. I'm suffering with 2 out of those 3. She made sure to explain to everyone she encountered that after losing her au pair job, my alias was currently sleeping on a friend's couch in a crowded house. Don't dream it's over, says you. One of the first ads I applied to simply read, oh, wait a minute, why is there Listen, this happens, my brand. I'm so sorry about this, listeners and viewers, but why is she says sleeping on a friend's couch in a crowded house? One of the first ads I applied to simply read. I mean, that's two very famous bands. I often wonder, do journalists do this and they go, look what I did here? Two bands. I wonder, will I get them? Like, anyway, we'll keep an eye out for any more band references as this article goes on. This investigation. So one of the first ads she replied to read, room available, please contact for more details. It was from a man from the Munster region who said he was in his early 30s. Munster is Cork, Kerry, down south. He was trying to go down south, alright. The ad showed a stock photography image of a generic bedroom. There was no price listed, which we had learned can be a telltale sign. My God. So this is a message she sent. Hi, I'm Anna. I'm 27-year-old from Brazil. Living here to improve my English. Can I know more about the room? Thanks. Man, it's a room in a 2-bed house. Up to yourself. If you want Okay, I've just realised this where it gets very spicy. Man, it's a room in a 2-bed house. Up to yourself if want to pay cash or some other way. Oh. Anna, how many cash? Or what other way? Man, I'm open to offers with cash, but have to be realistic. I think you know the other ways. LOL. Anna, so it is not cooking or cleaning for you? Man, unless you're cleaning naked. LOL. Wow. As Anna, I arranged to meet this man. Even with a whole team of producers and fellow journalists behind me, I couldn't help but feel nervous. I can't begin to imagine how unsafe others would feel when genuinely considering such an exchange. Maybe don't meet the man then. He sounds like a creep. Don't meet up with him. God's sake. It made me think of the fear and desperation that might lead victims to consent to exploitative situations, perhaps even considering going to this man's car as he requested after the meeting, hoping to secure a place to live. What kind of a man would do that? I remember being quite tense before meeting one of these men, but I knew he had a whole plan in action. My colleagues would start to call me by my alias, and we would often repeat my backstory on our way, as it would slightly change for each person depending on where they were based. In this case, we were headed to the south of the country. In the run-up to the meeting, the man was sending sexually explicit messages. It was hard to know how to respond at times. Look, come on. Obviously he's a creep. Don't meet up with him. He also sent us a photo of the actual bedroom he was offering for free in exchange for sex. It was poorly maintained with an old bed, wardrobe and a grim worn-out carpet. Even he described it as pretty basic, right? When I arrived, I got a shock because he looked so young. Even his ad said he was in his 30s. Like other men I met, this man who wanted what he called a bit of fun struggled to make eye contact. His approach was clearly different during phone or text messages. His approach was clearly different during phone or text message and conversations compared to our face-to-face encounter. He even mentioned during the meeting that he would go home, back to reality. As if the deal he was trying to make wasn't part of reality itself, he would often smirk and chuckle, treating the arrangement like it was a game to him. As soon as the meeting was over, he texted, As soon as the meeting was over, he texted, I thought you'd at least come for a kiss. Soon after, he followed up with, and you don't reply either. I had to put on the... But at my point, my alias, Anna, had made it clear countless times how vulnerable she was, that she didn't have anywhere to live and needed time to think. That did not stop him. It goes on for ages, this thing. Sorry. Not all ads are so vague. One read, ensuite room available for free in Dublin with special arrangements. Only women reply, please. No time wasters. She replied to it as Maria. Alright, let's get the idea. This is a 26-year-old Brazilian student studying English with few alternatives. He lived in Leinster, was in his 50s, he said. But when we met, he looked like he could have been Maria's grandfather. In some areas of Dublin or Ireland, he could have been. Before our meeting in a cafe, he mentioned that other women had also expressed interest. Jesus Christ. Okay, this fella was looking for oral sex. Alright, it's pretty shocking that, isn't it? It goes on for ages, actually. It's just... So that was the news. That was a RT News website. Is it hard to believe that kind of thing is going on? I mean, it couldn't be more clear what these creeps are up to, so. Takes two to tango. And I mean, yeah. I think you should probably sort accommodation out before you get over here, maybe. Maybe that would help. If you're coming from Brazil or somewhere. I'm just thinking, if I was going to another country to live, I probably would find somewhere to live before I go. Yeah, I suppose they could be getting removed from wherever they are. I don't know. So that was the news, yeah. That's what's going on out there. Pretty grim. If any of my listeners or viewers are doing that kind of thing, give it up. Don't be doing that. It's not nice. Okay. Now for the Agony Uncle section. This is a new section of the show where listeners / viewers / anyone can write in with a problem, an issue, or I just said anything goes. I put a post up on Instagram the other day on both my personal and the podcast Instagram. I started an email, which is the Dan Stevens Show at gmail.com. The Instagram page is the Dan Stevens Show. Message in, I can keep it anonymous, no problem, with anything you like. Thank you to Music is My Medicine for the suggestion in the comments on Spotify. And I'm not going to beat around the bush here, but nobody messaged with any issues, so looks like my viewer and listener base are very stable and doing very well, so congratulations. But what I did was I simply messaged in my own problem to myself. This is something that I've been struggling with for the last couple of weeks. I was in Edinburgh for most of the month of August doing a lot of comedy, doing the MWA show. Came back, did a gig in Dublin City. Came back on the 25th, did a gig in Dublin City on the night of the 25th, which went okay. Was in a competition in Whelan's in Dublin, Cherry Comedy Breakout Act of the Year competition. Last Thursday, it's now Monday evening. There was a judge's vote on the night. You don't know who the judge is. Probably the guy that runs it. The guy and the girl that run it. You don't know though. And then there's an audience vote that comes out on social media the following morning. I went up there. Did very, very well. Four or five people did well. I did, even by my standards. In my head after, I was like, okay, everything worked there. They were laughing really loud. Opening joke worked. Closing joke, huge laugh. Just a 6-minute set. But I didn't get the audience or the judges' vote. And I was like, okay. Oh, that hit me. Of course, you get comforted by other comedians and people saying, it's just stupid. Competitions are stupid. Unless you get through, then it's like, yeah, because this was the first heat. There was like 5 or 6 heats, and then you go to a final, and you can possibly win €500, which is why I entered. So after this, self doubt crept in. Shouldn't have, but I think it's definitely something to do with the fatigue that followed on after the madness of the month or so in Edinburgh. The walls come down and the negative thoughts come in. Who am I for, is what this person said. Is it too late to be a successful stand-up comedian at 37? I started at 33. Who am I for? Who's my audience? Who will be my audience? How do I find my audience? What has to happen for me to find a way to have a career in stand-up comedy? I thought the US was going to be the place for me, and it still could be, but I did get arrested there last year. For driving drunk. I'm still going through that court case. It's been deferred now 4 or 5 times, now to the 9th of September, and they've said that this is the final one, and my attorney is not responding to me or not talking to me. He hasn't been there at the last 2. He had to get someone to step in for him to turn up at court. So I don't know what's happening. I think I could possibly just get charged with the DUI, even though my attorney had negotiated a deal. I think if he doesn't send, he has like 9 days to send over the paperwork by email, and then I have to post it back, and it has to be received by the court in time for the deal to be done. So I don't know what's going to happen there, but that could scupper my chances of succeeding in the US. It was going well for me there when I went last year. Now you find that in Ireland, you do a competition. Whoever's running that, or the judge of it, is not a fan, like preferred other people over you, which is fine. Even with my best performance, it's not enough. And then the audience votes, and they vote for someone else. So even with what you thought was the best performance, you didn't get them to vote for you either. So it just lets, it makes doubts set in. So it's about dealing with them and keeping on going. Just to say as well, I had to go to the social welfare office as well. They ask a lot of stern questions. So yeah, it's been eventful. The calendar's quite empty for the next couple of months as well with regard to stand-up, and my knees are sore. So I can't answer my own question here, but well, I can. I think I can answer it in saying that I decided quite some time ago that I am in this for the long run, so that's how it's going to be. Through hell or high water. We keep going. Okay. I guess I might add the good news that I was talking about earlier as well, is that when I was in Edinburgh, so first or second week of August, I can't remember the exact day, I got a message from Lad Bible, who has 15 million followers, saying that they loved my videos on Instagram and that they'd love to do an edit of them and share it. And I had to fill out this form. It was all very official. I was very happy. And then I filled that out, sent it to them, nothing has happened since. It's been, yeah, I guess 3 weeks or something. Uh, it's I'm sure it will, and I've looked it up, and it can take a few weeks, I think. But I've messaged them a couple of times on Instagram, and I feel like a desperate kind of guy who's chasing a female, kind of. Are you still interested in me? Like, did I do something wrong, or did they see this podcast and go, oh, we can't really, because the numbers have gone down a bit on the podcast. Not, they haven't gone down that much. It's fine, and of course I will keep going. But you start thinking, did they see something in the meantime that they didn't like? Have they now scrapped plans to? Let's check my phone. I actually messaged them earlier. Nothing back. Seen 3 hours ago. So yeah, it's that sort of desperate feeling of, when is it gonna happen? So a lot going on. Another time of bit of a tectonic shift. When I had to have a meeting with the social welfare. I got knocked out of that competition. And yeah, try not to compare myself to other people. I think it's very important. But then you do start I try to be original with everything I'm doing as well. Try to put myself across as much as I can, and then I think of the people who have found me funny all my life, and it's because they knew me and they know me and they understand me. But then when you're trying to reach a new audience or appeal to new people that you don't know yet, they don't know your sense of humour, they don't know who you are. I put YouTube shorts out recently, and I had people just saying that you need to stop. Is this supposed to be funny? So the struggle that I'm having, I think, when I'm looking at things in the cold light of day, is that as well as having your own sense of humour doing this and bringing yourself across as the authentic you sometimes have to reach out an olive branch, or a drawbridge maybe is the better expression, for people to go, all right, oh yeah, okay, that's something I actually agree with you about, yeah. Oh, that's something we have in common. Because otherwise, if I'm just going full on being my true self, who I am, around people that already know me, it's not very productive. And I think it's a good skill in life anyway to be able to have the social skill, or the way of being, to express yourself or communicate in a way that people who don't know you can understand, because that will create opportunities, and then they can give you something back about themselves. Maybe I don't know how it works, but I'm trying to learn. Maybe I'm overcomplicating it. My good man Mick O'Gorman, who's a regular listener, a long time friend of mine, in the midst of afters of a wedding, he's listened to this podcast since the start, and he's a great supporter. Him and the McGrath boys. Said to me, you need to be more relatable with your stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, I do. It's just about being. I'm 37 in a few weeks, so it's about having a way of being that's, relatable, and showing that I can still build new relationships with new listeners and all that kind of thing. So yeah, it's a lot to mull over, but I'll get there. Okay, speaking of mulling over, there's another thing I wanted to talk about. So I was at Electric Picnic Music Festival at the weekend. I did a gig in the Global Green area. Many thanks to Colin Byrne, another long-time friend of my father and me, who is a eco warrior and a great guy. He got me a slot in Global Green section of Electric Picnic Festival. Electric Picnic is a 3-day festival, one of the most popular festivals in Ireland, on every year around this time of year, so like late August, early September. I was able to perform there. My good friend Rob Nodder, who is my Mullets with Attitude partner, he did Vicar Street in Dublin on Sunday night, so he wanted to rest up for that, and he smashed it apparently, supporting or opening for Adam Ray. Meanwhile, I was in a little room on the corner of a music festival, performing probably for about 15-20 people. Robbie Wilde, deputised for Rob Nodder, did a short set and before me, did 7 or 10 minutes. I did about 15. It was a great experience. Anyway, that was the Saturday afternoon. On the Saturday night, it was chaos. The peak of the weekends. It was the peak of the weekend's festivities. It's Portaloos, of course. So in the main section of Portaloos, at the music festival, nearest to the main stage, for the males, you have one section of urinals, which is just these. There's about 6 or 7 things in a circle. Everyone's just pissing into them. And then you have another section of porta potties, where I assume people are just shitting because they can do their cocaine or drop their ecstasy or whatever anywhere around Electric Picnic. So it's just the brass tacks of number 2 in these Portaloos. So I'm there, I'm needing to go, and there's at least 4 men queuing at each porta potty. And at this point you have to look around and go, which queue am I going to join here? And I kind of was adding up the average weight of the men in each queue, as if that somehow relates to how bad that cubicle is going to be. Completely unreasonable opinion. First of all, it's just a snapshot in time of the people that are using that, and it's just so ridiculous. But that's how my mind worked. So I joined the thinnest queue and realised that the guy standing in front of me, he was thin alright, but had a really hairy neck. So his beard was well trimmed, but a very hairy neck, and I was like, oh no, this fella doesn't finish things. He doesn't clean up at the end of the job. So this could be rough. I got in there and there was excrement all over the toilet and no toilet roll. And even if there was toilet roll, I'm not wiping that off the toilet seat. Absolutely disgusting, them toilets were. So I had to wander off 11 or so on Saturday night. Fatboy Slim were on at 11:30, but I'd given up by then. My 2 knees were sore, my feet were killing me, my toes were sore. I needed to go, so I snuck into the camper van area and used their toilets, and then made my way back to the Performer car park, where I was parked in my Nissan Serena, and retired to bed at about midnight, and then came home back to Dublin on Sunday morning. But my God, what a feeling getting into a clean porta potty. It's all relative, isn't it? Obviously you'd rather be inside in a beautiful, on a golden throne with a bidet. But then when you see the depths of despair that are going on in dirty porta potties at a music festival at peak time on a Saturday night, it all becomes relative. So just to have a clean porta potty with toilet roll was just excellent. And then off to bed with me in the back of the car, where it is a Nissan Serena, like I've said before on the show. It's a 7-seater, single mattress in the back. I hope that this episode, by the way, isn't too all over the place. I am just off the back of a crazy month of comedy and a music festival, and my knees are sore, and I'm going through some sort of crisis of confidence with the comedy and probably with this podcast. So please excuse me, but that's just how it is. So that was not even the point of that story. Jesus, there you go. I'm proving what I just said. After I went to that toilet with the shit all over it, and before I went to the camper van area, I tried a different section of toilets, and it was exactly the same thing, except 3 men. And I'm being presumptuous here, but I think they were gay because they were very happy and they were having a great time, and they talked. Oh, like as a gay man would talk. I don't know what am I supposed to say, but they were very happy, very gay. So I'm standing in the queue again, another desperate attempt. By this time, Fatboy Slim had probably started, but another desperate attempt to get to the toilet on the way back to when I hadn't planned to sneak back to the camper van site at this stage yet. But there's one fella in front of me. Next thing, 2 of his mates join him, and they're having a great old chat. And the 3 lads all go in there together. They all go into the cubicle together, into the portaloo. Now, I'm telling you now that it's easy to do drugs out in the open at Electric Picnic. You can definitely find a corner or a tent or something to do them in. I'm not saying that from experience. I am. But I'm just saying I know that it would be easy. These lads were not doing that. And they were in there far too long to be doing that. So I'm waiting. I'm next in line for this portaloo. And when I say the door was nearly coming off the hinges, I'm telling you, I've never seen anything like it. The door there'd be about 3 bursts at the door, like someone was trying to push it open. I don't know what was going on in there. They couldn't have been having a piss in the urinals. Because there was urinals there. They couldn't have been shitting into it at the same time. What were they doing? I don't know. But my God, the door was I was waiting for it to burst open outwards. Fair play to that portaloo. It took a good pound in that door. Anyway. So I'm in there next, and I'm like, what's gonna be going on in there now when I go in there? And they were gay lads, so I was like, maybe it'll be nice and clean. I don't know. Because just, straight men, I tried to go in after a straight fella before, and he was shite all over it, so I was like, I didn't know what to do. It was insane. Anyway, eventually I'm waiting there, I have a big puss on my face, I'm like that. Hope there's toilet roll in there and it's clean. Some chance of that. So the 3 boys burst out then anyway, and they go, oh, one of them goes, that was a great piss. And they winked at me. I didn't even go in, I just looked in. I was just like, oh my God, I'm going back to bed. And then I found the camper site, thank God. But my God, there was about 20 different queues, and I had to get stuck in this one. Whatever they were doing in there, I don't know. There's not much space even. What could they have been doing, or how would they do it? I'll leave that to your imagination. But I looked in. It was clean enough. There was no, I don't know. There was no toilet roll. That's why I left that one. Just a nightmare. But that walk, about a 20-minute walk from them toilets to back to the camper vans, I was like doing the process of elimination. Because unless they were doing drugs, they must have been riding in there. And fair play to them. It's, you know, fair play to them. What can you say? At least they were getting a bit of action. Me, grumpy old bollock standing there with me two knees hurting me and me toe. Wouldn't even go into Fat Boy Slim because I was too cranky. Who was in the wrong there? Me, Muggins. Anyway, yeah. So the next section is the mullet over section. Something a bit different this week. So what I did was, this was an off the cuff decision. This could be related to the sort of crisis that I'm going through. I don't know, but I also started a fast last night. I ate about 20 inches of Domino's pizza, and then I ate about 20 inches of Domino's pizza last night after I came back from Electric Picnic about 7 o'clock. And then I said, I'm going to fast now for as long as I can. So I've been fasting since then. Just black coffee and water. And maybe subconsciously I was taking a before picture or something. I don't know what I was doing. But I decided to, the Grok AI bot thing, app. I decided to, I came out of the shower, had me towel on, and I took a picture of myself in the mirror with no top on, and I sent it to Grok AI bot. And I said, how would you describe this body? And I'm going to share the response I got. It's a good start now. And I was holding in my belly a bit, I won't lie. It said, the individual in the picture has a broad-shouldered, muscular upper body with a noticeable chest and arm definition. That's as good as it gets. There is a layer of fat around the midsection, giving a softer appearance to the abdomen. The person is wearing a green towel wrapped around the lower body, and wet hair suggests they may have recently showered. The overall physique appears to be a mix of muscle mass and some body fat, indicating a potential base for further toning or shaping with targeted exercise and diet. I don't know why I did that earlier, but I did, and quite an honest assessment, I would say, from the Grok app. So, I guess that was the mullet over section. Something a bit different. It was more of a philosophical opinion of my body. We can do a little mullet over now, just to finish off here. Sure, why not? I'm going to ask AI for a philosophical question to finish off here, and I'll make it snappy. So what I type in is a light-hearted philosophical question. Please. Okay, so the mullet over for this week. I don't know what to call the last section now. Page 3? I don't know. Anyway, here's the light-hearted philosophical question from AI. If a tree falls in a forest and no one is around to hear it, for God's sake, does it still get to brag about its dramatic exit at the tree reunion? Yeah, I don't think AI is as advanced as we think it is. Because that question doesn't make sense. It's dramatic exit. It just fell on the ground. If a tree fall, no one is around to hear it. Does it mean no people, or does it mean no other trees? And where's the reunion on? The Tree Arena? Anyway, I'm not even going into that one. Sometimes AI is just ridiculous. So that's the mullet over section. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I can't answer that. It's just stupid. Stupid. If you're still here with me, thank you very much. I'm working on the quality of the episodes. Guests are coming soon. Do not worry about that. I even have I have a chair over here to my right. I'm getting it ready for the next guest. I had Dylan McDonough on, but I made a mess of it, so I had to get rid of that episode. But yes, guests are in the pipeline, so stick with me. I hope you've enjoyed this. This has been a nice long episode. Please do whatever you can do on YouTube, Spotify. Follow, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Please share. Stick with me. I'm eventually going to have this thing bang on. But I am a random thinking kind of guy. As I said earlier, sometimes the struggle for me is to build that bridge over the people. Drop the draws. No, drop the drawbridge and let the people come in to my world. As narcissistic as that sounds, but you got to be a deluded narcissist to be doing this in the first place. I think so. That's just how it's gonna be. I mean well. I'm full of love. I bring forth the spirit of my beautiful brother as much as I can, who passed away a couple of years ago. That's what I'm trying to do here. So thank you for listening. If you want to support the podcast, I'll leave a link in the episode description. But either way, it's great to have you here. Thank you, listeners. Thank you, new listeners and viewers. Really appreciate it. Take care of yourself. See you soon. Thank you.